Hey, everybody, welcome to another episode of No Way Jose, starring IFBB Pro League star, king of the 212 division for many, many years, one of the greats in our sport, Jose Raymond, the Boston Mass. What's up, Jose?
What's happening?
Not too much. Well, it finally happened, right? After all these years of trying, I got an IFBB Pro tank top.
Good for you, Ron.
$20.
That's a nice shirt.
You can have one too for $20. Yeah, thanks, Rico. So, yeah, Texas Pro, man. Wow, what a show! I had very little expectations. I know it was a decent show last year, but this year, whew, good Lord, what a lineup and things really. I think this was the best lineup since the Arnold this year. I don't know if you agree or not.
I do agree.
Yeah, man. Where to begin? Let's start with 212 division because Kareth Baggio. Very close second to Keon Pearson the week before in Tampa. Luckily, he did go on another week. I knew if he just pressed on another week, he had a great chance of winning this, and he did. But he had some great competition. Two of the new guys in particular. Let's start with third place. This was a pro debut for Jordan Janowitz from Michigan. Yeah, I've been seeing pictures of him for years. I know he's been like second, third at national shows many times. Finally got his pro card at the Nationals last fall. And wow, did not disappoint. I thought he was bang on the money, condition, prepped by Neil Hill, density. This kid impressed the hell out of me. What'd you think about Jordan Janowitz?
He jumped out to me right away. And I was texting you during the show.
Yeah.
And I was like, I could see him as in second. I could definitely make an argument for him to be a spot higher. He was bigger than Cody. Cody's a little prettier.
Yeah.
But from behind, Jordan was nuts. His rear double, his glutes, everything. He's a big dude. Yeah. And I'm amazed he's 212. I thought he was like, right at the top of the heavies at nationals.
Wow, maybe not. Oh, I messed up. It's Cody that was prepped by Neil Hill. I think I might have said Jordan. I'm not sure who Jordan's coach was. But people get
I'm not either.
People get butthurt when I put the wrong coach, and I agree. Yeah, but whoever his coach was, they did a fantastic job. I'm sorry, I don't know off the top of my head, but I agree with you. Jordan looked good enough. I think second and third could have flip flopped. Nobody would have been overly upset, except for Cody and his girl. But yeah, and Cody, I saw him for the first time. He made his pro debut just the week before in Tampa. Young kid. I think he's not as young as is he a little older? He's like 28.
He looks young.
He looks young.
He's a Canadian, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I've seen him up in Vancouver in the amateur division a few times, and he's just been awesome for a while now. Real pretty physique, really well put together, tight, tiny waist. Always comes in shape.
Yeah. Did you remember him from Classic? I don't remember him as a Classic Physique pro.
No, I don't know that he was. I think he looks classic, but I think he only turned pro, I don't know, 2 years ago?
Yeah,
it wasn't too long ago.
Yeah. Sometimes people say things that are inaccurate, and I just accept it and go with it. So that might not be true. He might not have been classic, but he does.
I'm going to guess he's not classic. I think he just looks like a classic guy.
Yeah. So, yeah, pretty physique. And now we go to Kareth Baggio, old man muscle for the win. This guy was dug out, just made out of granite. He told me he was going to be better than he was the week before, which everyone says. I said, I don't know how you're going to pull that off because he looked pretty damn good here in Tampa. But he did. I thought he was a little even tighter, maybe a little fuller. I don't think it was close. I think he dominated this show. And I was so happy for him because if he didn't go to the Olympia this year, I was going to be like, oh, man, come on. But yeah, Kareth Baggio. Because did you used to prep him? Were you just good friends with him?
No. I'm just friends with him. I love that guy. His physique is something more along the lines of what I used to be, shorter, compact, and he has to rely on that ridiculous condition. And I'm a huge fan of his. And I think that look that he brought today, this weekend, would maybe have beaten Keon the week before. I'll tell you this, that if Keon doesn't bring his best to the Olympia, like better than he did at Tampa, that Kareth could beat him if he looks like that.
Yeah. Now that you mention it, Kareth said you're his body double. He believes you're very similar physiques. Just obviously,
Yeah, we're the same height. Definitely similar. But I think he's even got a better waist. His waist was tiny in this at this show. That's the best I've seen him, man. He's getting better and better at presenting himself, and I think it was a walk-away win there. I expect big things from him at the Olympia. We're not sure exactly who's doing 212 and who's not, between Kamal and Derek and what the hell's it?
Clarita.
Sean Clarita.
Yeah.
We don't know who's doing the open and who's not. Anyway you slice it, I think Kareth is a top 3-4 guy easily.
Yeah, I mean that it's not just condition. Keon could get that lean, but he's younger. He doesn't have all the years of training under his belt. He still wouldn't have that super mature, seasoned, detailed look, because that just takes time. It takes years and years. Kareth has that, man. I love seeing the older guys who've been putting in the work for years get rewarded like that. So props to him.
I think Kareth, what's he, 43?
It's hard to say. He could be anywhere between 30 and 60. It's hard to say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, he makes things interesting, that's for sure, because Keon has the combination of everything that, at first glance, he's Mr. Olympia. He can beat everyone.
Yeah.
But he's yet to bring that polished look yet. When he does, I think he's going to win.
Right.
But if he doesn't, there's a number of guys that can beat him. And that it makes it so interesting. I just want to see him 100%, and that'll be a sight to behold.
Yeah, Keon reminds me of Flex Wheeler in a way that he's got the size and such pretty shape and everything that, Flex used to do a lot of shows that were not the Olympia. He would come in sometimes like 85% and still win. I've seen Keon do that now a couple times. I mean, he looked better. I think last week was the best I've seen him, condition-wise, since he was a classic guy. But it's still, we need a lot more than that at the Olympia. If he's going to, especially if these guys are all doing open, they stay in the 212. It's going to be a dogfight, a real dogfight.
Yeah, it's exciting.
So let's move on to the open class. I think this was the best top 5, definitely since the Arnold I've seen all year. It was just one of those perfect storms, man. Some guys, I assumed they were going to be in the top 5, like Phil Clayhar. This was such a tough show that they didn't even make it. Oh, I think I had the placings wrong here. It was Andrew, Kuklo, Kamal, Quentin. Who am I forgetting? Yeah, it was 5th place was Quentin, right?
Fitz.
No, I got him, but I'm thinking Quentin was 5th. Who am I forgetting though? Somebody was really good.
It was Andrew, Fitz,
Kuklo,
Kamal,
Quentin.
and Quentin.
Yeah, we'll just talk about that. So let's start with Quentin, the 5th place guy. Just like in Tampa, very, very impressed with him. I love this guy's shape, structure, such full round muscle bellies. Condition was really good. I think once this guy fills out a little more, I don't think he's done. I think he needs a little more filling out, especially in the upper body. That's when we're going to see him being extra dangerous. But even now, when I think he's probably, I'll say 70% of what he's going to be eventually, he's still very, very good.
Yeah, he's got a beautiful physique, and he still looks so young. There's so much of that structure to fill out. He was at the Boston Pro. He didn't compete, but I met him there.
Yeah,
you were with me when he came into Cheesecake Factory, and
that's right.
He's another tall, gigantic frame guy, and so well put together. He's got it all. I'm excited to see what he's going to bring in a year or two. He's still, maturing. Still got plenty of time. He just ran into a hell of a lineup.
Yeah, I mean, 26 years old. My goodness.
That's crazy.
He looks phenomenal. So the next guy very well, Kamal El-Gardni. So he was close. He was a very, very close runner-up to Akeem Williams. Akeem being the bigger, wider guy with, it's just overwhelming, Akeem Williams' physique. But Kamal, this is the first time he's ever done an open show, and it was only a difference. I think Aceto said he was like 219 on stage in Tampa. He's probably about I think he came in even a couple pounds heavier for this because he wanted to look fuller. What do you think about Kamal as an open guy? It doesn't seem like he's lost any condition.
No, in fact, I heard he was 221 in Texas.
I believe it.
Everyone's going to say Jose loves the short guys, always rooting for the 212 guys.
Yeah.
But when you talk pound for pound, quality, detail, balance, presentation, everything, it's hard for me to see Kamal not win. This show, I understand why he didn't win, but I could have seen him a spot higher. He certainly has the most detail in the lineup. So then you just go to size, and it's bodybuilding, it's big. They're going to go with the bigger guys. I would have no problem with him being second. I really wouldn't have. He's that good. He's that impressive. It's crazy. That rear double bi is
his back. Yeah, his rear double bi. I think that's like his best shot. His front lat spread's crazy too. His side shots are crazy.
Yeah, his abs just standing in the lineup.
Does that most muscular with the hands on the hip.
Yeah, you could go on for days, and the bottom line is he's just not big enough to beat all those guys.
Yeah.
And I think, I don't want to say, I didn't speak to any judges, but in Tampa, I think they just simply said he's a 212 guy. We're not going to give a qualification to a 212 guy. I don't see it, and Akeem's awesome.
Yeah.
Massive, but I don't think as far as quality, it wasn't close.
You know what I think? One thing with Kamal that I've been really scrutinizing his physique as an open guy. And I think one thing that kind of hurts him against some of these guys, he doesn't have that crazy taper that a lot of them have. It's not that he's not blocky by any means, but I don't see that crazy.
He doesn't have a crazy quad sweep. That's what it is. If he had stupid round quads, then he wouldn't lose to anyone. But I don't know why people have been saying that. Oh, he's blocky. He's blocky. He's not blocky. He's got crazy taper, wide shoulders. His front lat spread is wild. It's just that he doesn't have a crazy quad sweep, which would really enhance everything. But still, the quality of that physique is second to none.
Yeah, you could look at every fiber of muscle in that guy's body. It was awesome.
Yeah.
And the presentation, some of these guys are kind of awkward with their posing. I won't name names, but some of them you could tell they don't practice their posing much. And Kamal is so polished. Every transition, every pose is just flawless. It reminds me of Labrada. Like you'll never see him anywhere on stage where he's not just like a statue, just perfect.
If you go off of accolades alone, Kamal is one of the very best bodybuilders that ever walked the planet. Like he really is. People are gonna be like, "You're an idiot, Jose." This guy has won everything there is to win, from the Asian Championships to the Arnold Classic to the Olympia to the World Championships numerous times, and he's won everything there is to win.
Yeah.
He speaks for himself. It's pretty amazing what he's been able to do, in particular at this age, and then 8 to 10 pounds over his 212 weight,
right?
And he's still crazy conditioned. He's superb.
Go back to the age thing, because he's 51. He'll be 52 in, I think, November. We always talk about Dexter, but as I point out, Dexter was maintaining the last few years of his career. He wasn't building. He built all his size. I want to say by like age late 30s, he had all the size he was ever going to have. Kamal just added some size that he never had before past the age of 50. That's insane.
Crazy.
So, trains with Nick Walker. So maybe that's got something to do with it. So third place, man. I was really rooting going into the show. I was really rooting for Steve Kuklo, basically because last year he did one of those put all his eggs in one basket thing right before the Olympia. He only had 2 chances to qualify. It was the Texas Pro, where he got edged out by Ian Valliere very, very closely. And then Arnold Classic, he didn't win that. He would have had to win that to get to Olympia. And I don't know what his plans are. I haven't talked to him, but this is what he was counting on to get into the Olympia this year. There's still time, but I don't know. I've seen him better, but this was still a very, very good Steve Kuklo.
I think it's pretty much the same one we've been seeing in Boston and last Arnold, which is a really dry version of him. Arguably, him and Kamal, the two best conditioned guys in the show. But it's almost flat. I don't want to say flat, but I guess that is the knock that you could take away from that. I can't knock him at all just because he's so consistent. He's a true professional through and through, and he's in shape, in great shape. He just, the back double, he lacks a little bit to the other guys. I didn't foresee Fitz to beat him.
Right.
I wasn't there.
Yeah.
But looking at some pictures, Fitz front double, and he's so thick and a real pretty physique, and he's not yet like to the point where he got too big for that small frame. He's still really aesthetic for a big dude like that. So yeah, I don't know. I didn't foresee. I thought it was going to come down to the two big guys.
Right.
But yeah.
Well, I mean, Martin, let's talk about the Martian, Martin Fitzwater. He was, to me, the biggest, I wouldn't say surprised, because the day at the athlete meeting, Branch showed me on his phone, because Branch coached him for this. He showed me some posing video from 3 weeks before, and he was bang on the money, ready, glutes, everything was ready 3 weeks out, which, that's rare. And then sometimes it worries me, because I'm like, man, how's he going to hold that for 3 weeks without totally flattening out? But he did. He wasn't flat. I talk about condition. I think he was in better condition than Kuklo, for sure.
Was he? See, I couldn't see that on TV on the the pictures.
He was, and I felt bad. You could see the disappointment on his face when he got second, because they had him next to Andrew Jack pretty much through the whole judging. They were switching them around a lot, but he was compared very closely with Andrew, and I'm sure somebody could make the argument for him, but he looked the best I've ever seen him. Last year I was impressed, but I was like, this kid's still got a lot of work to do. He's a kid. He's 25 now, but he made a huge jump from last year to this year. He added size. I think he was up about 10 pounds, and the condition was much, much better. So this kid's well on his way.
What are his stats? How tall is he? What
I'm going to say, I'll give him 5'6", and I think Branch told me he was about 242, something like that.
Wow.
Yeah, he's thick.
Wow. Yeah, he's very impressive. Yeah. He's similar to Branch in height and weight.
Yeah, I mean, we're calling him a mini Branch, but he's not really. You can't use the word mini talking about this guy. He's not mini. He's thick. It's just Branch was so thick. But Martin's only 25. Branch I think made his pro debut around 26 or 27. So Martin's just getting started. This is only his third show. He did this last year at Texas, and he did Legion, which was kind of a last minute thing he probably shouldn't have done. But this really put him on the map.
This was his third pro show.
Right.
Yeah. Where the winner, this was his third show.
Right. Well, let's talk about that.
Period.
Well, Andrew Jack, the first two shows, I don't even know if you'd call them shows. I don't know if you've seen the pictures. He didn't even have posing. The guys weren't wearing posing trunks. They were wearing like bike shorts, like
classic trunks,
like the first year of Classic when they were like bike shorts.
Yeah,
they had masks on, which I can't do anything about that. But it was just it looked to me, it was like in Dubai. It was some local Dubai guys.
Yeah,
I might be wrong about that. I usually am, but there was no competition for him. Put it that way. And I think based on that, he was offered. He said in the interview, the winning interview, he was offered an IFBB. Can I say it? Am I going to get in trouble? Elite Pro card.
The other league.
And he told them to stick it up their asses. So this was his pro debut. And I, based on what I'd seen at the Arnold back in March, I wasn't expecting a whole lot. I said the condition back at the Arnold when he won the Arnold Amateur was from the back. It was, and even this time, I'd say it was. I think he himself said like 80%. And George Farrer, his coach, said, because the plan was Arnold UK, which is 6 weeks after this show, but he was looking good enough where they decided to jump in and do it. And what a great last minute decision. 6'2", 292 on stage, full splits in his posing routine.
Yeah.
The craziest shape. talk about an X frame. He reminds me of like like Tony Freeman back in the day, but maybe a better version.
You know what he reminds me of? If Flex Wheeler and Cedric had a baby, that's what you would have right there. He's the height of Cedric and the muscle bellies of Flex Wheeler in the presentation. You know, he can improve some of his posing for sure.
Oh, yeah.
But so bubbly and man, what words can you use?
Yeah.
This guy's special.
The fact that he wasn't in great condition and still managed to just blow everybody away tells you just how good he's going to be when he does nail it. And I think
that's why I use those two guys, because those two guys used to beat people at 80%.
Yeah.
And this is the same thing. I can't imagine what he's going to look like at 100%. And I texted to you when you were in Texas. I said, this guy could win it this year. He could win the Olympia this year if he nails it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think he still has a little work to do. Really,
of course.
I want to see a little more hamstrings, a little more, glutes, and especially condition back there. But yeah, wow, this guy, the genetics, we need to go back. I need to go back in time and get some Nigerian parents, man. They're just they're kicking ass lately. Yeah. I mean, can you imagine how good this guy's going to be? Because this has to be just like the beginning for him. He's got to get a lot better than this. The presentation, I see a lot of room for improvement. I think once he improves that, he'll be able to show the physique a lot better. There were times in the judging where he had his legs completely relaxed, and George would be like, legs, and then he'd be like, oh, okay. But that's like rookie mistakes of someone like him that's only done a couple shows.
Yeah.
So he's barely just getting started, and he's so good. I mean, you rarely see somebody that tall, that kind of shape and structure, those muscle bellies. Yeah, I mean, it's Cedric 2.0, but he's got things that Cedric didn't have. It's a crazy physique.
I can't believe how big his legs are.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't realize he was that big, that his legs were, because Kuklo got huge legs and his were considerably bigger.
Well, you know what? I don't know if you follow him on social media. Like I think I spotted him for the first time on Instagram like 2 or 3 years ago, and he never showed his legs. It was always like arm stuff. I'm like, geez, this guy's arms are like 30-inch arms. They look ridiculous, but he didn't show his legs a lot. So I was thinking he probably has shit legs, and that's why he never shows them. Well, apparently I was wrong. He's got great legs. I don't know what else he needs, man. Just maybe a little more hams and the condition. That's it. This guy's ready, because who's beating him at this point?
Yeah, I don't even know. I wasn't there again, so I would just assume he just needs to be more conditioned. I don't know that he needs more size, just more detail from behind, particularly. Yeah. Flex Wheeler needs to work with him and teach him how to hit that side chest perfectly. And it seems like he forgets about his legs on the side poses.
Yeah.
Because he was just kind of standing there as he was hitting the side chest and side tricep. But man, that guy's everything that everyone's saying he is. He's impressive. I met him at the Arnold Classic.
Okay.
And he was at some booth and nobody was around him. I'm like, this guy.
Yeah, that's how I found
it. That wouldn't happen tomorrow.
No, it was a CBD. The guy was so cool. Flex Wheeler works with them. It's a company with like CBD ointments and stuff.
Yep.
Pain relief. I can't think of the name right now, but that's where he was. And it was way off in like a corner of the expo. And you're right. Yeah. I was walking around looking for people to interview. I'm like, oh shit, there he is. And like nobody's around him. Grabbed an interview.
Yeah, it was weird. And you know what's impressive is he looks, just standing there in person, because he's so tall, he just looks good. He doesn't look, like Nick Walker walking around. You're like, what the fuck is that? With this guy, you're like, oh, he looks good. He's in good shape, whatever. Yeah. But on stage, he just explodes. That front lat spread, the front double. He kind of hits it like Roden, like tilted.
Yeah.
With the abs and just so aesthetically pleasing in every angle. Man, it's this is exciting. This Olympia is going to be, we say this every year. It's going to be great. It's going to be exciting.
I think this year is going to be even better. I mean, think of all the new guys we got now. Nick
Yeah.
Walker's going to be leveling up. Hunter's been working all year. You
Yeah.
got Blessing getting to Olympia. Andrew, Ian's going to be back. Bonac, Hadi, Brandon, Rami. Who am I forgetting? They're all going to get pissed off at me if I forget them. But yeah, I mean, Ian. I said Ian. Don't worry, Ian. I said you. But it's funny because those two are going back at each other. I think. Oh no, Ian and Boogeyman go back and forth more so than anybody else.
Ian goes after everyone. I love that. He loves to bust the balls.
Oh man,
it's good.
So I mean, it's way too early to talk about what's going to happen at the Olympia. We don't know, but I mean, Rami is still. I don't know if you've seen recent pictures. 336 with really good condition.
Yeah, he looks great.
Close to the condition I've seen him winning shows at in the past. And man, so I don't know if anyone's beaten Rami this year, but this, you know what, we put these expectations on people because only one guy's going to win the Olympia. That doesn't mean everybody else sucks if they don't win.
Right.
Nick Walker's going to look crazy. There's no doubt in my mind. Is he going to win? I don't know. But even if he doesn't, it's still, I do think he's going to move up from fifth, but we'll see. We'll see.
This guy, Andrew, is wide. He's taller. He's got superb quad development, and he's got a smaller waist.
Yeah.
So if he can match the conditioning of Rami, I think he could do it.
Yeah, it's crazy to be talking about a guy who just did his first pro show as possibly unseating Rami at the Olympia, but there is that talk all over the place. People are saying this guy is the best thing to come along in years. Yeah, it's an exciting time for bodybuilding. We were worried about 212, and now we're not so worried. We got a lot of good talent coming up in 212. Open, people are starting to worry. Same thing. Now we have this huge influx, but that's how it is. The older guys cycle out, and we get fresh new talent coming in. That's what keeps it exciting. And this guy, man, this guy's about as exciting as it comes, and he's not afraid to talk shit.
Yeah. I think bodybuilding's in a good place. I think all those new guys you're talking about, we got a lot of structure guys, tall, broad, small waist like Quentin. And I think there's a lot of really good guys to be excited about.
Absolutely. One guy from the 212, I just want to mention that. I want to give this guy credit because he ended up placing sixth, but Ahmad El Wardani, I was so disappointed.
I was asking you about him.
Yes, because in Tampa, when he came out, I was like, oh no, he blew it. This guy should have won this show, and he was, I don't know where he placed there. He wasn't in the first call out. And he didn't make top five at this show, the Texas show, but I could have seen him in the top five for sure. He improved in 1 week. He sharpened up a lot. So it had to have been a water issue. I don't think he could have dropped that much body fat in 1 week.
He's awesome. I don't know what happened to him because he should never be outside of the top three, right, outside of the Olympia. But what did happen with Nathan Epler? He did the Open at Texas?
He did. I think he got second call out. So as expected, he was definitely a little fuller than he had been in the 212 shows that he's done recently and even last year. And the condition wasn't that much worse. I've seen him sharper for sure, but he's taking a year off and coming back again. I don't know. He felt he wanted to test the waters in the Open once, and now he's shutting it down. He's going to take a full year and come back next year, probably with a good 10, 15 pounds more muscle, which he really needs it. He got outmassed.
If he was 100% sharp as he is as a 212, would he have done better?
No.
I would assume.
No, this was a tough show. Like Joe Mackey looked freaking great. He didn't make top five.
Yeah, that's a hell of a show.
It was a great top. The top 10 was fantastic. Like I said, maybe going down the line from first to 10th, it might have even been better quality than the Arnold. I'd have to really look at the lineups, but it was Freddie and Sheila did a bang up job with this show. And I don't know if you know this, it was a tier 3 show last year and this year. And Tyler talked to his grandfather, Jim Mannion, and it's going to be a tier 2 show from now on. So that means more points, everybody, if you don't understand, for second, third, whatever. It's a higher value in terms of points for the Olympia.
Well, that's great. That says a lot for the promoter.
Yeah.
And maybe motivate other promoters to put that much into the show. Because I've heard that everything from the way the show was run to the way the athletes were treated to the lighting on stage.
The lighting, that we talk about certain shows where people look their best, and like, Hadi Chupon, everybody talks about that Vancouver 2019 show. You were at that show. I think Hadi's looked just as good, if probably even better, at other shows, but they didn't have that kind of lighting. This show had fantastic lighting. Everybody was, and the webcast, it's hard to tell, I know, but if you guys go to the pictures on the musculardevelopment.com contest gallery, you can really see every little detail in the physiques because the lighting was like sculpted. Freddie brought in his own lights. He spent a lot of money, Freddie and Sheila, and it shows. They put the money into the show.
That's huge. Well, I'm sure it's going to be even bigger next year.
Yeah, and just for the ladies out there, I gotta congratulate two-time Olympia women's physique champion Sarah Villegas. Did you see what she did?
I heard she gave a $15,000 award to the women's physique winner.
Right, which she had done last year too. So the women's physique winner got more than Andrew. He got 10,000. Women's physique winner got 15,000, and this giant sculpture of Sarah in her victory pose. So, God bless you, Sarah. That was.
What? I love it. Sarah's flying to events in a private jet, and she's giving back.
Yeah.
That's huge. I love that.
Right.
I saw her Instagram post about it, and I think that's awesome.
Yeah. I mean, usually people, when they're on top and they're still the champion, they're not even thinking about helping anybody out. They're like, it's all about me. It's me, and it's a selfish sport, blah, blah, blah. But who does that while they're still the Olympia champion? That's her and her husband Ali. They came up with that money themselves for this. It wasn't like some supplement company pitched it in. It was them. That was their money. Who does that?
Well, something tells me, Ron, if she's flying in a private jet to events, 15 grand's not. Yeah, it's not really going to put her in the poorhouse.
It's not breaking her bank, but still, that was a hell of a gesture. And I know the women.
Yeah, no, I love it.
They were very, very grateful. Tyke, I can't remember her last name, but her last name is pronounced Tyke. Very, very, very good winner. Anyway, so that was a Texas Pro, and Andrew Jacked, whose real name is like, oh boy, let me try to pronounce this. Chinedu is his first name, and it's so on the score sheets. He went by his last name, or is it Chinedu? So his real name is Chinedu Obika, or Chinedu Andrew Obika, but nobody's going to be able to spell that or remember that. So Andrew Jacked. That's all you got to know.
So that's. I thought it was his real name, Andrew Jack.
No. It was given to him by Larry Wheels' assistant, I think, the guy that like films all Larry Wheels' stuff.
Yeah.
Because that's who kind of discovered him, was Larry Wheels in Dubai, I think.
Wow.
He saw him training at the whatever big gym and started putting him in his videos, and people were like, wow, who the hell is this guy? And that's, I think, other than that, we might never have heard about him. He might never have competed.
You've heard of him now.
Yeah, everybody knows he's on the map. He's on our map. Cool, man. Well, that's it. That was a great wrap up. I wish you'd been there, but man, it was a great. Too. You'll see Andrew at the Olympia for sure. So Jose, thank you so much. This has been another great episode of No Way Jose with the Boston Mass, on Instagram as the Boston Mass with 2 E's. And that's it. We appreciate you guys watching. Subscribe to the channel, like the video, share the video, leave some comments. Good or bad, we appreciate them all. We dig you guys. So thank you, Jose.
My pleasure, Ron. We'll see you soon.
Until the next No Way Jose, thanks for watching.